Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Ocean's Pit, a little show about big things. I hope you guys are having a great day today. It is Monday, the 22nd of August, and I hope you guys had a great weekend. And I hope you guys are still going out and supporting local establishments, live entertainment, and buying local and shopping local, because that's what it's all about. We want to thank you. The great weekend. First of all, I want to thank everybody who came out to Mars Resort in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin on Saturday. We've been playing there for like 15 years, folks, and it's always going to rain. Rain all the time. I tell you, man, it was raining when we were driving Illinois. Right before we got to the Wisconsin border, bam, sunshine. So the 3, 4, 800, whatever people that were there, it was just incredible. So I want to thank Arnie and Scott and the staff, of course, of Mars Resort. I want to thank the band, of course, Tony Toto, Rhino Ryan, Little Anthony was fantastic. My whole family was there. My kids, cousin Rhonda, our good friends, Tony and Denise, everybody from the Oceanettes, Danny and the boys, Joey, thank you so much. And it was great seeing you all there. We appreciate it. Okay, so check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com. And to book a show, give us a call at 847-769-8609. You know, we got about maybe 6 dates open from now to the end of the year. So we've been very blessed with that. We're very lucky on that. And we got a great guest for you guys today. Now, first of all, we, of course, thank everybody who watched the show on Friday. We had the legendary comic Tom Dreesen on. And the only reason why I had Tom Dreesen on the show is because our guest today, our good friend Tim Seaton, it was the only reason why. Now, Tim tried to get on the show and his microphone thing didn't work, so we apologize about that. So I go, let's give Tim his own date, and that's today. So we're going to have Tim on, folks. And boy, just the stuff that this guy has done over the years. He sits on the border, of course, of the Illinois affairs of the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Joliet, and so much more that he does. And we're going to talk all to him, Tim, in about a couple minutes. But before we bring him on, let's just get some sponsors out of the way real fast. Also, this date for this week. Now, this Wednesday, we were supposed to be at JC Pub in McCook. Well, they had some problems over there at the restaurant, so they had to reschedule that to October 27th. Thursday, Friday, Saturday is big this week because it's our farewell tour for one of our band members, of course, for many, many years, the great Rhino Ryan is moving his family to North Carolina, so he'll be gone. So last chance to see Rhino is the next 3 shows coming up. This Thursday will be a Pasta Mia in Bartlett, outside patio with Tony Toto and Rhino Ryan. Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg, 8 o'clock hit with Rhino Ryan, his last show at the Prime. And Saturday, the big one, folks, Taverna on Division, voted #1 patio in the whole city and suburbs of Chicago. In Melrose Park, outside, Tony Toto, Rhino Ryan, 8 o'clock. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of surprises, maybe stopping by. Sunday will be at Antonio's in LaGrange, outside from 4 to 7 with Jerry Jams. So we got a busy week and a lot more stuff to talk about. But let's talk about some sponsors, folks. Let's not forget our good buddy, folks. Let's start off with McCampbell Law Group. McCampbell Law Group, Roy McCampbell, attorney at law, a statewide law practice that is client-focused and results-driven. If you're looking for a good lawyer, right out of Rosemont, Illinois, 708-275-4264. That's right. Don't forget our good buddies from Deutsch Power Center, Great Lakes, servicing the construction and diesel industry in the Chicago area for the last 100 years. For all you guys working in the construction and diesel, they're the guys to use. That's Deutsch Power Center, 224-276-6550, folks. Let's not forget my wife's company, Laura Ocean Solutions, folks. You know what? If you're dealing with credit card processing and you're dealing with credit cards, you want to save money, increase profits while reducing credit card fees. The reason why she can save you money, folks, because she owns the company. No middleman, no bullshit. She can take care of it. Check out Laura Ocean Solutions. Let's keep it going with some more sponsors, folks. Airtight Windows, Siding and Specialist, family owned for 30 years for honesty and quality. Do it right with Airtight Windows. My good buddy Lou, give him a call at 708-788-5000. Tell him Tony O sent you, folks. Don't forget Don Esteban Cigars out of Tarpon Springs, Florida. You know, I smoke 3 or 4 a day for how many years now, and everybody loves to smoke a good cigar every now and then. Now, he's from Tarpon Springs, and they mail these right to your home. You can ask for the Tony Ocean cigar or any kind of cigars they have. Hand-rolled. 727-366-7536. All right, folks, you can see the show not only on the Tony Ocean Show like you're watching it now. Later, we put it on my personal page, the Mo Carrara page. And then you can see us live on Twitter right now. And you can also go to YouTube and watch it and subscribe to the channel. Asking you people right now to push the button and share it. Share this show. Let everybody know about Little Ocean's Pit and about my good buddy Tim Seaton and the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in beautiful Route 66, Joliet. Going to be great place. Great place. You got to go there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Last but not least, Trico Hair Experts, recreating great hair days for men, women, and children. They're out of Rosemont, Illinois. Check them out at 773-999-7888. And Anthony and Carmela do an incredible job. All right. So, again, thank you, everybody that came out to Mars. We appreciate it very much. And, it's very good to get out there and support. Well, I'm kind of shocked still that we still work 4 to 5 nights a week for the last 30 years. We did our anniversary show at the Des Plaines Theater on May 27th. We almost sold it out. It was almost 700 people. And with so many places to go, I was shocked. I was shocked. And I'm humbled. We just finished our 8,000 something show. And we got to keep going. What else am I going to do? Got to keep going. So we're excited. All right. So speak about a man who's done a lot, ladies and gentlemen. He's worked in so many different hotel establishments with the Embassy and the Hilton and the Hyatt, the Pheasant Run, Village Clerk in Lisle. He runs something called the Lisle Eyes in the Sky Music Fest, one of the top 50 music festivals around. A lot of good stuff he's talking about. And, of course, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in beautiful Illinois. Let's bring up my good buddy, Tim Seaton. Tim, how you doing, buddy? Hey, the vocal is there. How you doing, sir?
Oh, Tony, I am so happy to be on. You have no idea. No idea.
Well, I'm happy to have you on too, folks. And you know what, Tim? Very cool. And before we get to the Illinois, the Hall of Fame, which I know is very important to the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago and all the great musicians, but you've done a lot more on your plate besides that. So let's just start from the beginning. Where were you born, my friend?
I was born in Clarendon Hills, Illinois. Went to Hinsdale Central High School. As a matter of fact, last year I was inducted into my high school Hall of Fame, my alma mater, Hinsdale Central. It was a pretty prestigious group to hang out with. I don't know why I got in, but I guess it was because of a lot of volunteerism I did throughout the years.
Yeah, well, you know what? A lot of hard work. And that's, look, I'm up for look, I was shocked. There's something called the Josie Awards, which is the #1 independent music award show in the country. So I don't know. All of a sudden I get a letter saying you're nominated for this show. It's going to be the Grand Ole Opry. It's going to be on October 23rd in Nashville. I go, what? You must be thinking of something else. But I'm honored. But you got to be honored for that, man. And that's fantastic. Tim, did you come from a big family?
No, just the two of us, my sister and myself. My dad always had a business in Hinsdale. We had car wash, gas station, that kind of stuff. So basically what happened is when I was in high school, first of all, my whole background is Boy Scouts, the Scout program.
That's
Cub
right.
Scouts, Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. My son's an Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scout, that's correct, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I had 44 years as a leader in the Boy Scouts of America. My son to this day works for the Boy Scouts. He's a professional scouter. So scouting really set myself up, my background for volunteerism. Then I got involved in the JCs, and then I got involved in PADS, and then I got involved in the Rotary, and then it just went on and on and on and evolved.
You're also a member of the Knights of Columbus.
Knights of Columbus, a fourth degree knight, exactly. So a lot of volunteerism base, and I have to say that between my association management, my volunteerism, that's really where I understand what it means to be out there and to give yourself to others. It's very important to me.
Well, you know what? And volunteering is good. I love volunteering myself with all the different stuff that we're involved in. But you're right. It's always nice to give back, and we're pretty lucky with that. You're watching Ocean's Pit with my good friend Tom Seaton. We got California. We got Boston. We got our friend Taika. Sorry, I'm horrible at pronouncing names. Tayuka from Thailand. How you doing, my dear? Mark, Ellie Weinhardt, great actress from the movie The League of Her Own, and she's one of the #1 Joan Rivers impersonators. She's fantastic. A lot of guys watching. Anyway, Tim, you got a lot of good stuff going on here. Music obviously is part of your life.
Huge.
Obviously. When you were who was the influence when you were growing up? Was the Beatles or the Stones or both?
Boy, I'd almost go back to Elvis, but okay. I'm not that old. But you know what it was? I was on the radio station in high school. That's where I kind of got my roots. It was very grounded. I became the station manager of the radio station. My dream was to be Larry Lugia. I was going to be Larry Lugia. That was it.
Old Uncle Larry, animal stories, not no stopping. Yeah, that was the best. Yes.
Yeah, and guess what? It didn't turn out that way. But top 40 was my music. Nothing underground. It could be Sinatra. It could be the Eagles. It could be anybody. It could be all of our wonderful Illinois musicians. Look at REO Speedwagon, Cheap Trick, the Ides of March.
Sure.
All the guys who are in Illinois here. So top 40 was where it was at for me. I loved it.
And you know what? To me, the top 40 in my car every day, I'm still with the British Invasion.
Right.
And I'm still with Power Pop. I mean, I'm still the Raspberries and Cheap Trick and Sweet. And
sure.
they're out of my car every day. I don't even listen. And even when I do my shows, the Tony Ocean show, like the first part of the show is like an hour is the Sinatra stuff. And then we get into all my rock and roll roots, which is very important. So obviously Elvis was huge, but I was an Elvis. I'm not much of an Elvis fan. I'm going to be 60 this year. And I liked some of his stuff and I liked what he did, for the music and everything like that. But the Beatles were it for me. And then of course I switched over to the Stones. Did you have a favorite of them too?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of would lead towards the Beatles and Stones. And you know what? I have to forgive me because I have headphone here. I just got off the air for 2 hours. We have a show. The museum has a show called Illinois. Mm-hmm. And we actually had an hour interview with one of the great Buckinghams. Carl Jim Reese was on our show today. Which
Carl was actually his birthday yesterday, or if I'm correct.
It was his birthday. And he shared some great stories, about the Buckinghams and how they were named after the fountain. And when they were on Ed Sullivan, you probably heard all these. But
yes,
Ed Sullivan's, they thought.
I've known Carl for a while. We did a couple of shows. Our band opened up for a couple of times. Carl is fantastic. And some of the acts that are on that, when we're going to talk about that, I'm just going to ask you, real fast, have you been to the Rock and Roll Hall Museum in Cleveland?
I have never. I'm remiss. It's on my bucket list, and I need to get there. I have not.
And what do you think, before we get into the Illinois one, what do you think of the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that's out there? I mean, the big one. I get there's so many. Why do you think, Tim, that some bands are not in there and they should be? And then they bring in all these other acts. No disrespect to Lady Gaga or all these, but why are they in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
It's a great question, and I think a perfect example of that is they kind of put themselves in a corner with saying the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Dolly Parton, as you know, that's probably the biggest story out there. Dolly Parton was nominated.
Then she turned it down, right? Didn't she turn it down? Then she came back again, right?
Came back. And I think it really needs to be based more on popular music for the most part. But then there's a lot of talented people. There's a lot of, you've got blues, you've got jazz, you've got all kind of genres. At our museum, the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, we are opening it up to all genres. You could be country, you could be blues. We inducted Muddy Waters, Sam Cooke. If you look at rock and roll and you really do the study, there's only about 7 or 8 years that rock and roll existed in the genre that it was originally set up to be. And obviously since then, we've had the spin-off since the early blues all the way up till now, rock and roll. But that would be the best answer I can give you is that when you want to cross over all genres, you've got to be accepted. I mean, Chance the Rapper has an opportunity to be in the Rock and Roll, museum, our Hall of Fame. There's two segments. There's the museum where you could have an exhibit.
Right.
And there's the Hall of Fame where you would be inducted for 20 years of recording records and 20 years of playing on the road.
Sure.
That's how you could be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Into the Hall of Fame. And you know what? What do you think about the rock and rollers that snub and don't want to appear on the Rock and Roll when they get inducted. And what do you think about sometimes like a perfect disaster when Kiss was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and not bringing up and not playing with Peter and not playing with Ace? I mean, come on. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is also for the people who put you there, who bought your records and went to sold out concerts and bought your merchandise. I can't stand some of those acts that do that. What's your opinion on that, Tim?
That thoroughly disappoints me. I mean, when they can't all come together. And I've got a perfect example. Unfortunately, we just kind of went through that ourselves. Stixx was inducted into our Hall of Fame. And Dennis DeYoung, of course, was the lead singer. And he's the voice of Stixx. Let's face it. I mean, he wrote the majority of the songs.
Right.
And for many, many years, Dennis and Stixx, they've been separated.
Sure.
And we tried to get all of them on stage to accept. And Stixx was actually in town at Tinley Park, playing with Loverboy and REO Speedwagon.
Right.
So we thought this is perfect timing. We've got Dennis DeYoung, who lives locally. We've got Stixx coming into town.
Michelle and the boys. Yeah.
So first of all, Dennis DeYoung had committed, and then there was some objections, I think, by the managers at Stixx. And I got to be real candid. A lot of times it's up to the agent, the handlers, whatever it might be, if they're not going to meet halfway. Sure enough, Dennis DeYoung was scheduled to come, and he actually broke his collarbone. So he declined. In his place, Stixx wouldn't come, although they were gracious. They did receive it on stage. But my point is, we could not get them to come together. And, Ron Romero, our executive director, said, here's just a super group. They made all this money. They had so much fun over the years, all this talent. Why wouldn't they come together for their fans and have one representation? And unfortunately, that did not come to fruition. Stixx received their award out in Tinley Park on stage. Ron had presented it to them. And Dennis DeYoung, because of breaking his collarbone, he actually came in and he recorded a wonderful video for us. But that's a real life example of, at one point they disagreed on things, which direction the music was going to take, and they would not come together.
Something happened, I think, is sort of love with the band Chicago too, with Peter Cetera.
Yes,
I think maybe something like that too. They don't want to. I don't get it. I just believe that you owe it to the fans. Stop the ego shit and get your stuff in there. Shake a hand, bow, say what you got to say, and then move. Remember the Eagles? Hell freeze over. We'll never get back together.
Right.
And they got together and they'd still playing. So
Well, Travis Tritt brought them together. Travis Tritt was responsible. He actually played at the Rialto last night. He was on until about 11 o'clock at night. He brought the Eagles back together. He was that source that they needed to bring them back. Now, another example, Carl, we had on today from the Buckinghams. Dennis Stefano went his separate way.
Sure.
And Dennis sings all the Buckinghams. But they still have a great relationship. They just went their separate ways with music. They don't appear too much together anymore.
Correct.
But at least they understand, look at Tom Dreesen and Tim Reed. Tim Reed wanted to act. They had the first black and white comedy team and the last black and white comedy team in America.
How about it? That's right. And Tim, I just got to interrupt you for 1 minute. I just want to thank you because if it wasn't for you, Tom wouldn't have not been on the show. And I appreciate very much for that. And folks, if you're interested in seeing Tom Dreesen live, it's going to happen, folks, September 10th at the Belushi Performance Hall in Glen Ellen. You can still get tickets, folks, at themac.org and go out and see our good buddy Tom Dreesen. And of course, Tim was a big part of putting that all together for Tom Dreesen. Will we have another problem, you think, Tim, if Jim Peterick and Frankie Sullivan, Survivor, would that ever, if they ever get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, this is interesting because Jim was inducted as a songwriter, as an individual. Correct. And also the Ides, were inducted at our inaugural. So, I don't know how we can bridge the gap. A lot of times it takes some outside intervention. I know that I grew up with a guy, he's a year younger than myself. We went to the same high school, Bill Evans, very famous saxophone player. And he was responsible for getting Miles Davis out of retirement. It was even in People magazine.
Sure.
He lived and breathed Miles Davis. And it got to the point where he just kept writing him letters and following him around. And Miles was set never to play again. And Bill was able to get him back into the fold, and they went out on tour. So it's not impossible. I wouldn't write it off, but it's not very probable.
Not probable, yeah. Tim, Illinois, now, first of all, Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum and the Hall of Fame in general, what an incredible idea. How did it come about? Why Joliet? How did that all work out?
Oh, great questions. The best questions. This was Ron Romero, who was our founder. He came up with the idea. He wanted to preserve the music. He's been a musician, I think, since he was a teenager. Bass player, we'll forgive him. Not a drummer, bass player, but real talented musician. And he wanted to somehow, preserve the history and bring all of the rich history that we have here and the contributions of musicians and performers and everybody in the industry who have emboldened the creative spirit of Illinois. And boy, do we have a lot of them. So
Sure.
if you want to be on exhibit at the museum, if you've performed in Illinois for any length of time, if you were born in Illinois, if you recorded in Illinois, if you have those Illinois roots, you're eligible to be on exhibit, at the museum. So this started in about 2016. He started to write a book about Illinois music, and it's so rich. I mean, it goes from Nat King Cole to Louis Armstrong, deep into the jazz and blues movement, bringing it all the way through, to Sam Cooke and the rock and rollers of the 50s, 60s, and of course, even today.
Sure.
So that was his dream. Why it's in Joliet. At one point, there was an opportunity to actually be at Navy Pier. Not too many people know this. And he wanted to at least put it marketing-wise. He thought, well, what if I put it on Route 66? We have it in downtown Joliet. I mean, Joliet's like one of the third or fourth largest cities in the state of Illinois. This building became available, 3 stories with a basement. The basement are the downstairs, I should say, are lesson rooms. First floor exhibits, second floor exhibits, third floor will be meeting space, as well as our Hall of Fame inductees. They'll be represented up on the third floor. This is a $6.6 million proposition to put this together. We've raised approximately just under $1 million right now. And it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot of infrastructure, work, and redoing the building. The building is from the 1920s, mid 1920s. Used to be a department store. So basically, what Ron wanted to do was put it under one roof, house all the exhibits, also have an educational component. Museums are educational, but we want to be able to mentor youth. Could you imagine your son or daughter learning how to write a song by Jim Peterick? Eye of the Tiger, Vehicle, Hold On Loosely, all those incredible songs.
Absolutely.
That's what we're going to be doing. The education component, and then all the historic,
And then you're being some of these, you can also be trained by some of these stars who actually wrote these songs. It's almost like when you see that thing they do on MTV where you get to jam with all your favorite rock stars. You pay for something for the week, and they rehearse something, and then at the end of the week, they do a concert together or something. Wow, what a cool, right. That's such a great chance because I don't know about the younger generation, Tim. I mean, is rock and roll still there?
Yeah, I mean, take groups like what we just had in Tinley Park at the Hollywood Amphitheater. I mean, you had Loverboy, REO Speedwagon, and Stixx, and they were on a 58-city tour, and they were selling out. Amphitheaters, 20, 25,000 people or more at a time. Take a group like Journey. I mean, you can't stop singing Journey songs.
No.
So I don't think it'll ever die. And I think that, let's face it, the people are after that's the other thing, Tony, I want to really reiterate and drive home. The museum is a big fan, lover, and promoter of live entertainment. Just because you didn't sell 50 million records, it doesn't mean that you can't be involved in the museum, be recognized by the museum. When we have our fundraisers, we go after all the local and regional entertainers to help us provide our entertainment. And we all know who we're talking about, including yourself. I mean, music crosses all areas.
And of course, we lost two great legendary Chicago guys in the last couple of months. We lost the great Jimmy Sands, of course, Shadows of the Night. We lost the great Cliff Johnson, off Broadway, Pez Band, Thumbs, USSA, Black and Blonde, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, so it's nice that we can still give back, and we need to, because there's so much great talent here in the Chicagoland area. Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. Tim Seaton from the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Tim, let's see, they just have the Blues Brothers performed at the prison in Joliet. It was Jim Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. I mean, come on. I mean, that Blues. Here's another act, the Blues Brothers, of course. You know, I mean, how cool is that to go be able to do that in the prison like that? Fantastic. You're also in the hotel business. Now that must be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know, I actually had a long career in hospitality, and it all started at Pheasant Run. And that's another way. Oh my God, that's another story.
Did it just burn? Now it was down for a while. Then wasn't there a fire not too long ago?
Yeah. And I believe, to be proven in court, but I believe it was arson. I think some kids.
Are they call in the business? They call it a Greek fire. Anyway, besides that,
it's Greek torch. Torch fire, firepower. Yeah,
right.
But that's unfortunate. I think they were just going to demolish it anyway. But it was a pretty big fire, a lot of expense to put that out and to make it safe in that general area. But Pheasant Run, here's a really great story. I don't even think I told this to Tom Dreesen. Remember David Brenner?
Sure.
Comedian.
He used to sit in sometimes for the Tonight Show with the comic.
Yeah. So we had a talent agent out there, and we had, some bookings in and out. And then, of course, Pheasant Run had the dinner theater. And they had booked David to come out and do a show. Well, David was very connected in the entertainment industry. I mean, he was very strong personality, and he was very popular on all the talk shows. He had a very successful show. He told all of his friends, you got to play Pheasant Run. This is a beautiful resort in St. Charles, outside of Chicago. And they just started coming right and left. Paul Anka, Kenny Rogers, Lee Greenwood, Dionne Warwick. They came in droves to play at Pheasant Run. And it wasn't until David Brenner played there and started to talk it up about what a great venue it was.
Even the Mill Run was great at one time. How about, remember all the acts they used to have at Old Chicago?
Oh, yeah.
That was a big one. I remember seeing the Ramones. I think it might have been the last show they had there, or was it Michael Schenker, one or the other. But wow. And unfortunately, it's great. We still got my good friend Ron Onesti, and he's got the Arcada Theater out there and doing what he does there, and the Displays Theater. But it's nice that you're doing it. Folks, you need to get down to the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 9 West Cass Street in Joliet. Not only they got a great museum, they got a lot of great stuff going on. Tim, let's go down a list here with some of the names, and I think some of these are in there, and some hopefully maybe they'll get in there. Tell me what you think. Okay, we talk about Chicago, Cheap Trick, Ides of March, Buddy Guy, Muddy Waters, REO. We know that already.
Right.
Buckingham's, obviously. Let's see. New Colony 6, another great band.
Yeah, just got it. Yep.
Pez Band, the Boys from Illinois, of course. How about the band from Zion, Shoes? Made a lot of great records, great pop band. You got some great group. The Kind were even great. They put a few records out back in the day. Frank died. Lou Rawls originally I think was from Chicago.
Yeah, yes, he was. Yes.
Crime Shame Survivors, Stixx, Smashing Pumpkins, Enough's Enough, of course, and the list goes on and on. How do you guys come up with who's going to be inducted?
All right. Once we announce it, and the key to most of all the information I'm going to give today is at roadtorock.org, www.roadtorock.org. That's our website. And that's where you can find all of our events. And in the next couple of months, what we will do is we will solicit the public. So the public has the opportunity to nominate bands, individual artists. We have several different categories. They have that opportunity. Then that comes to our charter members. And then the charter members take that apart, and those are all vetted. Everything's, of course, got to be vetted for longevity. How do they meet the requirements? Were they born in Illinois? Did they record in Illinois? There's a host of different, parameters and requirements. And then that's taken to another group, and then they kind of refine it. And then it's kind of, chopped and sorted, and then they figure out it's a committee that will really decide on what the public started, what our charter members completed, and then that's where we go from there. That's how we come up with it. And then we announce it within a 2-week period following all of this vetting and all of this voting. So it's kind of a long process, right. But it starts out initially. And I can tell you, I've seen the spreadsheets on this. And there's been a lot of people like Peter Cetera, Lionel Richie. They get a lot of votes. And I think that if you stay tuned this next year, hopefully we're going to be looking at some of those other artists. Even like down the road, Jennifer Hudson, for example. I mean,
oh yeah, there you go. Down the line.
Yeah,
there is so much entertainment that come out of this. Tim, it's just interesting when the new kids are, like you're saying, the new generation of music. I mean, some of these rock and rollers that we're naming, or even some of the bands from the 70s and the 80s, I just don't see the new generation coming from that. Do you? I haven't. Have you heard a good act? I mean, a good that's going to be in the to hit the mark like some of these other bands that's been coming out in the last 4 or 5 years. I'm not out there that much to realize it.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent out there, and there's a lot of. First of all, we are very remiss on female artists. It's a numbers game. I mean, there are not that many female artists compared to males out there. Sure. Let's face it. But there's one group called the Millennials. They're fabulous. Lindsay Kent. There's quite a few that are up and coming now. They do a little bit of their own music, their own creative, and then they also do a lot of cover. What I'm seeing is incredibly talented cover bands right now that are out there performing. And we all know with all the festivals right now, you can go see them firsthand. But I'm not seeing a real oomph with rock and roll necessarily.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Right. I remember like the 79, 80, when Off-Broadway, Pez, and all those bands all started coming out of Chicago, and it was like seemed like everybody was getting a record deal. And you know what? It doesn't seem like that even happens in Chicago that much anymore with the record deals. I don't even know if they're signing major labels anymore. I mean, it used to have all the venues, the great venues to play, which unfortunately they're all gone too. It's just a shame where they all went to LA and then they went to Nashville, and it just right. We just got to keep that. We got to keep it here in Illinois. We got to keep it in Chicago. It's very important,
Yeah, and we talked about this morning on the show, and the fact that there's been so much rich history, and people have said, well, what's going to happen when you run out of people that you can induct into the Hall of Fame, from Illinois? And, our response is that we'll probably never do that. There's so much talent.
Right.
And I think at the front end, we were able to induct a lot of the bands that have been around, 40, 50 years. And I think we're doing it the right way. Now, what's ahead? Like I said, Wilco, Smashing Pumpkins, Jennifer Hudson, some of the country acts, Gretchen Wilson. I mean, there's still a lot. It's not back end loaded. I mean, there's still a lot that, we can get out there.
I like but you're also doing the radio personalities. I like that.
Yeah.
That you guys are doing the disc jockeys. That's a great thing too, that you guys are doing that. And the songwriters, there's always going to be great songwriters, you know what I mean? So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It gives you a nice variety that you guys are trying to do with that, which is great. Now you do live concerts there too. What do you got coming up? What's big coming up there at the Fame?
Well, what we do is we generally, our large one is at the Rialto.
Right.
That's where it's been. That's where our induction is. And what we have been doing lately is we've been kind of doing some traveling entertainment. So we've had some things at the Forge. We've had some things at Brower House. We've been trying to get around a little bit and take the entertainment in different areas. therefore, it exposes our audience, to not only the museum, but some other entertainment. I did something with all female bands last year in March because of International Women's Month. And we had everybody from a Disney star all the way to some groups that have been around for almost 50 years. So we had a real mix of all female fronted bands. And we're going to do it again in March. And it was a big success. We've actually done 2 of them now.
Yeah, and another good friend of ours, or a good friend of mine, one of my very first guys ever, the great Jimmy Sikoris was always the best. When Jimmy, I tell you, man, he was just fantastic. I love what you do, Tim. It's fantastic. Something came up in the news today. I don't know if you noticed. Remember the great rock and roll magazines, Hit Parade.
Sure.
Remember the Cream magazine is making a comeback. That CREEM Cream magazine used to be big. The Illinois Entertainer it used to be really big. I remember all the acts used to run out when the beginning of the month just to see if their ad was in there or if their picture was in there and the stories in there. And it's a free magazine that still does well. You guys putting a magazine or something out like that?
We're not yet. We are. Ryan is actually writing a book about Illinois music, which is really, really. It should be out, I would think, in the next maybe 90 days.
That's fantastic.
And it's going to talk about all the different musicians, artists, songwriters, whatever, that have influenced music, and of course, everything's from Illinois. You brought up a couple things. We do tomorrow night. Kind of a shameless plug here, but we have something called Cars and Guitars in downtown Joliet. We hire a local band. We have about 100 to 150 show cars. And then we have all this other activity. And it starts at 5 o'clock, goes to 8 o'clock. So those are things we do on a regular basis in downtown Joliet to promote local entertainment and to also promote the museum and give the community an event that's free. We're big on free events. We think it's very important to support the local community.
Well, yeah, that's very important, especially. And we need more people to come out and support these acts and support these establishments and support the museum. And it's just interesting that it's unfortunately what's a little scary now, what's happening in the city of Chicago. A lot of people I know are not going down there, but the Air and Water Show did very well up there, supposedly from what I'm hearing. It's just that I just wish Chicago could be a little bit more like it used to be. And hopefully it will. Things will change. I don't know. But one thing, Tim, that we know that we all have in common, no matter where we're from, no matter what race, religion, political, whatever it is, music is something that we all are, that puts us all together. You know what I mean? And that's I just applaud for what you guys are doing. I'm so happy that it's there and that you guys are doing that. It's fantastic. Have people been coming to the museum?
Well, it's not officially open, so I want to make sure that everybody knows that. But if you ring the bell and we're there, we'll gladly show you around. We have a really cool. We have some cool merch. Actually, I have a shirt on. It's not one that we sell, but this is our logo. But we do have a lot of merchandise.
When do you think it will be open to the public?
Well, we hope the lower floor, which would be our lesson rooms, and then the main floor by the end of this year. Now, here's something else that's going to be a huge draw. We were just approved for this 26-foot sculpture. It's a guitar, and it's going to be our sign. It's going to be kind of our mantra. And it should be installed within the next 60 to 90 days. It was created by the most famous Beatles sculpture. So this woman creates sculptures around the world for other nightclubs. This is going to be the coolest thing you've ever seen. This sculpture is over $80,000 just to create. So wow. This is our sign that's going to be hung, in front of the building. And we hope to have governor, whoever that might be at that time, and a host of other musicians out there. We're going to close the street. It's going to be a lot of hoopla, and we're going to unveil this sculpture.
Oh, that's going to be fantastic, and it's good. It needs to be out there. Tim, I appreciate your time, and thank you for getting Tom Dreesen on. It was great. I hope you have a lot of success with that, and keep doing what you're doing, because we really need to promote, especially all the great talents out of the city of Chicago and the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What a great thing to have. I think the younger kids might look. There's so many young kids that are still wearing Led Zeppelin T-shirts. You know what I mean? I don't see. I see the Beatle T-shirts. I still see that all the time. It's mind-boggling to me to see some guys, and they know all the records, and they know the member of the band, and they know this. I mean, if you were to say, one last question, Tim.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one band only out of Illinois and Chicago, and I know you probably can't say just one, but if you had one choice, who would you think the biggest, how about this? Who do you think the biggest earner, more records sold from Illinois? Would it have been Stixx or REO?
It would have been Chicago.
Chicago, complete, yes, absolutely.
I think Chicago is approaching 100 million in records, 100 million records sold. That's a tough one because if you ever call me, my phone rings and it plays Eye of the Tiger because Jim's such a nice guy. I love him.
You know what? Jim is great. I met him many times. I actually went into some recording at his home. He used my vocal to do some songs that he wrote, and then he would send the demo to the actual artist who's going to record the song. I think we did something for the Doobie Brothers. I think we did a song called The Doctor, which he used my vocal on, and he sent it to them. So Jim has always been a great guy. He goes, Tony, I remember he goes, Tony, go back to rock and rolling, would you? Go back to being Mo, and but I still do my rock and roll with Mo's Dream Police. We do all Cheap Trick. Look, we even played the Cheap Tricks Christmas parties for a few years, and we used to play their party, and it was just great seeing. We got to jam with Rick Nielsen, and Bunny came up on stage in Rockford years ago, and so we still love doing that, and we still love playing. And Cheap Trick is still one of my favorite bands of all time. Tim, I love what you do. Thank you, what you do. Thank you for being on the show. Anything else you want to leave us with?
No, I want to thank you for what you do. I mean, you have a fabulous following, and I'll tell you what, as they say in the music industry, you keep the music going. And it's live entertainment so important. And when you're a true entertainer like you are, and you've been doing this for 30 years, a tried and true track record, you should be very proud of what you're doing and the music that you're providing. The entertainment's great.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I owe it to the fans because I'm telling Tom the same thing. Difference when we play in these restaurants and stuff or these clubs like this, it's a little pricey.
Yeah.
You're walking into some of these places and your martini's $28.
Yeah.
People still coming Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. I'm very humbled. But thank you, Tim, and thank you for everything. And hope we can hear from you again once you get the stuff. Anything you got coming up, please let us know, sir.
I will do that, and I appreciate it so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Seaton, ladies and gentlemen, he's on the board of directors for the events of the Illinois Rock and Roll of Fame. Not open to the public yet, but you can go. If they're there, knock on the door. Tim and guys will show me around 9 West Cash Street in Joliet. Hope to be open by the end of the year with that big new monument of the new guitar unveiling. It's going to be great. Thank you, Tim, for your time. Have a great day, sir.
All right. You too. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, folks. And Tim and the boys, of course, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a big thing. And look, a lot of rock and rollers' birthdays the last couple of days. Let's go down to Tim. You can stay on the line if you want. Kenny Rogers, John Hyatt. These are people who celebrated a birthday the last 3 days. John Hyatt, Kenny Rogers, Carl Gemarisi, Dimebag Darrell from Pantera, Glenn Hughes from Deep Purple. Let's see. Phil Lillett from Thin Lizzy, Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, Doug Fager, one of my favorite guitar player singers from the band The Knack, who passed away, fantastic. Ginger Baker, drummer of course, Cream. Unbelievable here. What else we got? Bill Clinton, he's not a musician, but John Stamos plays bongos for the Beach Boys. No, he's not a musician. Dean Martin's daughter, was a singer who travels all over the country. Dina just celebrated. The great Buzz Killman just celebrated a birthday, of course, on the loop, and of course, harmonica player that he is. Anyway, so a lot of great people wishing them happy birthday from the musician side of it, and very cool. Also, folks, what else we got here? I want to say happy birthday to some of our people that actually watch the show all the time. We appreciate it. Diane Decker, Ronnie B, sister-in-law there. Diane, happy birthday. She watches the show. We appreciate it very much. Bill Clinton, former president of the United States. Martin Mull, fellow comic. There you go. Let's see. Mr. Antonelli. Mr. Antonelli for watching. Mr. A, I love you, brother. Happy birthday. Very good. Caitlin O'Toole, another fan. She opened a bar. She's got a great place in Algonquin over there. Happy birthday to you guys there. So that's great on that stuff. Also, folks, tomorrow, a birthday, of course. I want to say happy birthday to our son, Joey, celebrating his birthday tomorrow. Very important. We got some other stuff to talk about, too, that we didn't get a chance to talk about on Friday. And, of course, the stories that you guys keep sending in to me. Danny Raimondi, how you doing, folks? Folks, yeah, people asking. Okay, so we got the Pasta Mia coming up on Thursday, Chicago Prime, Taverna, Rhino's big last gig. Next week, got big shows, folks. A Taste of Melrose Park will be there on the main stage. First, we'll be there on Friday, September 2nd. Now, we'll be there with Ocean's Rat Pack from 7 to 9, doing our tribute to Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy. And then from 9 to 10:30 is Tony Ocean's main event band, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and all the great music. Then we're going to be the headline, one of the main stages in Schaumburg, September Fest in Schaumburg, Saturday from 8 to 10 on the main stage. I'm excited about that. And then we're back at Pier 290, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, for one of the last shows for Labor Day weekend, folks. So a lot of good stuff coming up. Also, our big benefit, September 18th, we do for St. Jude's. Every year. We just did one for the Laurie's Children Foundation at Bellagio, a big success. St. Jude's we like to give to all the time because it's very, very important. It's going to be at the Melrose Park. Jersey Girls, Nick Hodges and the Piano Man, and Diva Montel, yours truly, and all the great acts will be there for St. Jude's, Carl Doty, Jerry Jams. It'll be a lot of fun. What else do we talk about here, folks? All right, let's get into some topics here that people keep sending me in. And, folks, sometimes we talk about stuff. Sometimes it's on that borderline. And sometimes we just like when you people send us stuff. It's very important to get. Now they're saying they're trying to want to ban the Black Lives Matters or Pride flags at schools. Now, you know what? I don't know why people really get into all this stuff. It's just, and some of this stuff that's sometimes what makes the headlines. It's just some crazy stuff that happens, and we just don't want to get into all that. You know what I mean? For me, I don't believe in all that stuff. Let them do whatever they got to do. I mean, why don't you just put one of those flags that have international, so everybody's represented, right? It just makes the point is I'm trying to say it's just kind of nutty sometimes. It really is. I don't know. And then we're talking about people all the time. Oh, here's some American Airlines just signed up for a 60. Wow, this is pretty cool. Supersonic jet, 60 of them. That's going to get you to London, from Miami to London in 5 hours. Man, it's amazing what they're going to be able to get to in the future with that. I know, Mary, what are you going to do? What day, Joanne? We'll be at Pier 290 on the 4th. On the 4th, September 4th, Sunday, September 4th. How does one send you stuff? Herbie, we get it on my emails and we get it on my private messages on Facebook. And my email is tocean@comcast.net. Or you can call the number there, 847-769-8609. And we will listen to all your stuff. When push comes to shove, there's only one flag that matters. Ron, I agree with you. One class. It is important. We're all American here, and I totally agree with that. Sometimes some people just get a little nutty over here, folks. How about this, folks? 146 years ago today, the Lakota people, Dakota, the Cheyenne, and the Arapaho defeated, of course, General Armstrong Custer, 7th Cavalry, June 25th, 1876, the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Crazy horse, sitting bull. Putting that all together. And of course, I'm a big history buff and I love listening to this kind of stuff that happens. And crazy. I mean, General Custer, folks, was kind of like the kind of guy that was thinking that this is going to be an easy win. And of course, it wasn't an easy win. The Native Americans were well supplied with better guns and better weapons. Just be careful what you say because Facebook is watching everything. I know, Dennis. What are you going to do? I know. It's crazy. Well, when do you get to send the glitter bomb? There you go, Danny. Oh, and I mentioned the Oceanette guys, Danny and Robin. Thank you so much for the T-shirt and all your support. Joey Spins and the guys, Mikey and everybody from Hardcore Italians. You guys are not only people that come, but I really, you guys are good friends, and you guys support so many people. And what you have done for me, I do appreciate very much. We're gonna have some good for the Indian, right, General? We're going to have some guests coming up. Today I'm making all my calls. I'm going to call Danny Ramundi's kid from Newsmax. We're going to get a lot of people on. So today, my whole day up until 6 or 5 o'clock, I'm making calls to book all the entertainers and acts and stuff that's going to be on Ocean's Pit coming up. So we're excited about that. Don't ever, I love this. Natalie sent this in. Natalie sent this in from Evanston, Illinois. Don't ever rush into a relationship. She might have a hot friend or a hot sister. Oh, you guys are unbelievable. Some of the stuff you said. Hey, listen to this. And this makes a lot of shit. There's so many languages that people talk. 6,600 languages in the world. And all we do is talk shit. I just wish, I know everybody's not ever going to all get along, but my God, it's just getting to the point now. Come on, guys. Let's have some fun. Life is too short. Too crazy. I mean, look, someone said putting Dr. Fauci in charge of COVID is like, it's like making an arsonist a fire chief. It's just a little crazy, right, Mary? Great seeing you, Mary, at Mars. Appreciate it. I try to get Rick on. I've called him. I text him. Carol, maybe you can do a better job. Reach out to Rick. Tell him I want him on the pit. I need him on the pit. Peter Prado, great seeing Peter. Stopping by at Mars, and thank you, Peter, for what you did over there for the Italian festival. I love what you do, brother. Yes, we need to work together, Dennis. I agreed that. That's how it's going to work. We need to do that, folks. Congratulations to our good friend, Bruce Gordon, ladies and gentlemen, who was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame from the band New Colony 6. Of course, my good buddy, Bruce Gordon, also he's in a band called the Cave Dwellers. Congratulations, Bruce. Great job. I've never heard, folks, this is weird. I've never heard of an IRS agent or somebody coming to your house. I don't get it. Some of the new stuff they're coming out now, they're coming with rifles. You hear about this stuff that's going on? Where is this shit coming from? What is going wrong with this world? Get Miles Green. Yes, we had Miles on. Miles was on one of the beginning of our show. Miles has been a good friend of mine for many years. Maybe Terry won't let him. Good point, Luann. Good point. I don't know. Me and Rick go back many years. I like Rick. He's one of the best Elvis guys out there, man. He's still doing a great job at what he does. If you guys are big, according to CNBC, Target profits fell 90%. I don't know. I haven't been to Target in a long time. I don't know if you guys are going to compare what the Italians did, compare what the Indians did with medicine, food, invention, and yet no Columbus statue. Oh, Emil, we've been talking about this forever. And, our good friend Ron Onesti is been trying for how long now to get that statue put back to where it belongs. Who knows if it's going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen with this mayor. Maybe, who knows? But they definitely need to put that back in. It's very, very important. I don't know. I just think something needs to be done. Really, really, really does. It's just sad. Because, I believe that everybody should have their own day. And they should. Everybody should have their own day. But Columbus Day, like we said, should be for the Italians on that day. Let them have another day. It's just something that just gets me. Animal lover that I am. And I know you guys, I don't know, I think you guys are animal lovers. Have you ever seen the movie Hitachi, if I'm pronouncing it right, or Hachi? Hacti. It's about the dog, a Korean dog, actually. It was a real story about a dog and his owner, and the owner died of cancer. And the dog used to walk the owner to the bus, so he can go to work every day, the L or the train, and every day. And then one day, of course, the owner died of cancer. So that dog, up until the day he died, walked to that train station every day to wait for his owner. And of course, he kept doing that till the owner died. But oh my God, I was in tears. The movie Hachi, if I'm correct, with Richard Gere. You guys, anybody see that movie? Oh, the schools are teaching that he was a very bad guy. Yeah, well, I don't know. The schools are teaching a lot of things that who knows. IRA needs to audit themselves first and show books. There you go, Peter. That's what I love about you guys, because you guys just throw in all this good stuff. It was beautiful. Yes, it was. The movie was fantastic. You got to check it out. I don't know. How about this? I love these great stories in one way and sad in the other. In the beginning, according to People magazine, folks, a toddler was a toddler chasing bubbles. He's blowing bubbles. He's chasing them. And it goes underneath this tunnel where he was at. And he found an 82-year-old woman who's been missing for days in this tunnel. If that little boy wasn't following his bubbles, this 82-year-old woman never would have been found. Isn't that weird how strange stuff happens? Jeremy, how you doing, sir? Very sad. Haven't seen it, but breaks your heart. Carol, get it. It will break your heart. This dog went back to the train station every day to wait for his owner to come home, and he never did, of course, because he died of cancer. Richard Gere did a great job. It was a great true story. I think it was based out of a Korean story about the Korean dog, but very, very interesting, folks. How about this? Entertainment Weekly. Wendy Williams had to be told several times, Wendy, you're canceled. You're canceled. She didn't believe it the first time. She didn't believe it the second time. Wendy, you're canceled. How many times you got to get it? You get a letter in the mail. You get a letter in the email. You're canceled. What's wrong with these people? Oh, it's crazy. I never watched the show anyway. I don't know much about it, but what the hell? People are driving these electric cars. I don't know if anybody out there that has an electric car driving these electric cars are finding these working stations that are not working. There's a lot of them that are not being kept up, and they're having some problems with the electric cars. Little crazy here, folks. You know what? A friend of mine's kid got hurt from falling off a bunk bed. Did you ever have a bunk bed when you were a kid? I never did, because that was only me by myself. So I wouldn't need a bunk bed. Oprah's glad she's gone. There you go. Yeah. She's an idiot. What do you know? Anyway, bunk beds. Dangerous. Did you guys have them when you were kids? Did you have bunk beds? I don't know. I don't like bunk beds. Hurt yourself. What else birthdays that we forgot the last couple of days? Also, folks, we forgot the great Patrick Swayze turned 70 years old. This was on Friday. I couldn't say these birthdays because Tom Dreesen took the whole hour. But Patrick Swayze turned 70. The great Robert Redford celebrated a birthday. Of course, from the Pittsburgh Pirates, former Major League Baseball player, the great Roberto Clemente celebrated a birthday. Chicago drummer, of course, the great Greg Potter celebrated a birthday. Ian Gillian from the band Deep Purple. How about the Uptown Theater, folks? August 18th, 1925, the Uptown Theater opened. One of my very first concerts I went to go see was a band called the Bay City Rollers out of Scotland. Uptown Theater. John Deacon, bass player for the band Queen, celebrates a birthday. My godmother, Vicky, celebrating a birthday today. I hope she's watching, folks. All right. Also want to say congratulations, everybody, to Eleanor Onesti. Congratulations for being Woman of the Year, of course, for Fernell Mundo, Woman of the Year, and she's fantastic. Of course, the wife of Ron Onesti. Congratulations. I couldn't be there, so Ron asked me to do a little recording, and I sent the song of Que Sera to her, and very, very cool. Mom had bed twins. Yeah, those bunk beds, man. The guy on top is screwed. You roll over in your sleep, you're done. Bad stuff. Who wants that? Who else got birthdays? I forgot. Eric Todd, my buddy Eric, happy birthday. Actress Amy Adams. Actor Peter Gallagher. I'm just going back to find out other birthdays that I might have missed here. All right, everybody's birthday is good. All right, so crazy. Yeah, so nobody wants the bunk beds. Okay, that works for me. I don't care, those bunk beds. These stories, I have so many of them, it's hard to keep track. We'll have to do that again tomorrow. But we are out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Out of time. I want to also say my prayers to Tony. Of course, Tony Shark has passed away, of course, last year, of course. But his stepson, Rush Collins, passed away. Sad. Horrible. How about Wendy's, folks? Last thing about Wendy's, don't go eating Wendy's sandwiches. The salad that got in trouble with this E. coli stuff that's happening in the lettuce, so they're pulling this out of Wendy's. Don't go out there. But I'm wondering if Wendy's gets their salad, does Burger King, McDonald's get the salads at the same place? I saw loyalty, right, Ellie? It is loyalty. About the little Lego that fell off the top bunk. There you go, Kathy. I fell him off to go a regular bed. I can imagine. Okay, so Emo fell out of a regular bed. Do you imagine a bunk bed up there? You roll over, boom. The strawberry frosty is fantastic. Okay, then there's no lettuce in there. So, Richard, you don't have to worry about that. Oh. All right, folks. I'm running out of time. I'm mumbling now, so I don't want to do that anymore. Anyway, folks, let's thank our good friends. Our last sponsor, of course, the great Patriot Funding Incorporated. They're right out of Roselle, Illinois. Commercial money and lending at its finest. Patriot Funding Incorporated. Call my buddy Dave Antonelli when timing is everything. 630-675-4730. That's Patriot Funding Incorporated. Folks, tomorrow is another day here at Ocean's Pit. And I hope you guys watch the show. Don't forget, Laura will be my guest again on Thursday. And our guests are going to be back heavily starting the month of September on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm just happy to be here, folks, and thank you so much to our guest, Tom Seaton, of course, from the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Joliet, Route 66. Thank you, Tim, for being on the show, and we really do appreciate all you guys watching every day. I'm humbled and best and most honest. No show. Well, I try now, Peter. I try to be honest, and you know what? Sometimes people get upset. People don't want to go there. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to go there. But you know what, folks? I believe sometimes when people are quiet about it, that's when there's problems. I think when we have a problem that's out there, you need to speak up about it because it won't go away. That's just my opinion. And I'm just a small little guy. But you know what? I'm sick of keeping my mouth shut sometimes when it comes on things that just to me doesn't seem right. And I don't know. You know, I'm an American, so I believe in the American flag, and I believe about the United States. I believe what's about. I believe being friends with everybody, and that's all I can say, man. That's all I can say. You got to let it out, Pina. Pina, great seeing you. Thank you for the guy, Tony Toto, his family for coming out. Also at Mars. Oh, no, Tim, thank you. Tam, thank you for being on and giving me your time. And please go out and support the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and everything that Tim and Ron and everybody does over there. It's a good cause, and we need it here in Chicago, and we need it here in Illinois. I want to thank you all. Don't forget, Rhino Ryan's farewell tour happens this week, folks, Thursday. Pasta Mia in Bartlett. That's a 7 o'clock hit. Outside patio. Peter does a great job there. That's going to be this Thursday. Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse with Rhino, the big one. But the big one is Saturday, folks. Taverna on Division, outside patio, Tony Toto, Rhino Ryan, Saturday, Taverna. It's going to be fun. John Leonardi, Vice President of the Italian Sports Hall of Fame. How are you doing, my friend? Always. Just want you all just to go out, support local establishments, live entertainment, buy local, shop local, and don't take shit from anybody, folks. But try to be nice. There's ways of saying things without being mean, but you got to go out and tell them how you feel, man. And that's all we got. How much does a chimney cost? Nothing. It's in your house. There you go. Richard, I love you, brother. Oh, Cheryl Riccio. You know what? With my conversation, I completely forgot. You're watching. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say congratulations. First of all, to Cheryl and Tony Riccio, part of the Ronald and Esty organization, folks. Their daughter, Amara, had a baby. Harley Rose, I hope I pronounced the name right, Kewis. I'm sorry, I'm horrible with last names. Anyway, she had a baby, born on August 20th, 22nd at 2:20 a.m. in the morning, 5 pounds, 15 ounces. Congratulations, Noah and Armara. My God, the baby is beautiful, gorgeous. Cheryl and Tony, you should be so proud and so happy. You've been waiting there for a long, long time. Now get ready, grandparents. A lot of babysitting. A lot of babysitting, but God well, she's healthy. Harley, isn't that cool, man? And a cool name too. Oh, love you, Cheryl. Love you, Tony. Amara, I love you. And Noah, congratulations, guys. A new baby brought into this world. And she's going to have a good time. A lot of good stories with Cheryl and Tony Riccio. Good people, good hearts. You got to love them. All right, guys, we got to go. Thank you so much. Check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, 847-766-9609. And remember, the great words of Ringo Starr, peace and love, peace and love. God bless you all. Have a great day. Happy birthday again, Mr. Antonelli. Love you. See you later tonight. Bye-bye.